Pat yourself on the back because you are right here, right now, for a reason. Welcome to the On Purpose podcast, where together we will empower ourselves and others to live lives with more passion and purpose.
How you doing this morning, Jerrod?
I'm good, my friend. I think this is I don't remember ever having a double ball cap recording episode.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I was looking at it, and I was like, I don't know that we've ever had both of us wearing a hat at the same time.
We don't really wear hats too often.
Nah. I just wore it today. I don't know why. I felt springy. I felt like a little baseball hat. Since the Rockies traded Arenado to the Cardinals, I guess I gotta like them more.
Okay.
Political statement. How are you doing today?
I'm having a hard time, man.
Yeah?
I am going through some hard transitions right now. But I will say I do have a deep knowing that in 6 to 9 months I'm gonna be like, man, all that shit I was fucking really stressing about is the best thing that could have happened to me. I know that. I feel that. But it doesn't make it less stressful and less hard. For the community, I have some business adversity coming up with a new federal law that was passed called the PACT Act, which is pretty much going to make it illegal for me to ship about 80% of the products that I sell on bnails.com. E-commerce is at least 80% of our business, and I'm not going to be able to move forward with that. So kind of scary, kind of a hard time, but figuring things out one day at a time.
Yeah, now you're working through it, which is good. And for those of you that want to know how it's going to turn out, we will record an episode in a few weeks kind of talking about the process of pivoting and how you work through that. And one of the important things is that we've talked about is not making a ton of decisions when you're in the middle of it. Just brainstorming and thinking through. So we'll share that with you in a few weeks. So today's episode might actually help, man. The purpose of pets. And how's the little one helping you through this process?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. Chloe's unconditional love, even though she's not the most energetic dog that runs up and licks you, she's more like if she sees you, she'll just kind of lay on her side and open up for you to pet her. But it's been it's definitely been a good energy exchange. Like I'll get home and just be feeling stressed out and look at her, and she'll be all excited and lay on her side, and I'm just like, just go and pet and rub her soft belly and just love on her for a little bit.
And you weren't much of a dog person before you and Courtney got together, were you?
I was. I never had my dog. Like, I had a dog for a little while during my childhood, but not like Courtney, not like Courtney's dog, that she got in college, like her dog. I never had my dog, and now I have definitely felt more like Chloe's mine as well.
Yeah, that's good. What do you think that is? How do dogs bring that out of us? Dogs or pets? I mean, some people are cat. I don't fish. Fish are pets, man. But I don't know. Like, to me, they're way different. You can't pet them and just love on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think dogs they execute on a principle in my favorite book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of the principles that Dale Carnegie writes about is having genuine interest in other people.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's look at man's best friend. Why do people love dogs so much? Because when you open the door and get home, that dog acts like you're the most important being on the planet. They are so excited to see you. They can't even contain their excitement. In the book, it talks about, like, imagine if a human treated you that way. Like, you walk through the door, like, oh, Jerrod, I'm so glad to see you, jumping up and down. You would have no other choice than to be naturally inclined to love them back. I'm like, oh, thank you, thank you so. And that's what dogs do for us time and time again. It's like they never get sick of it. They never get sick of you. They're unconditionally loving, and they're always just so genuinely interested and excited and full of love to see you. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly right. I think they see you for who you truly could be. And I think that's why a lot of people have pets, is because not every human in the world sees you for who you could be. They see you for a mistake you've already made, maybe a personal limit they put on you. Maybe they see you for a skin color or a gender or whatever, and they don't really give you a complete opportunity. Whereas pets never see that. They're blind to that. And I think for a lot of people, having a pet is that one reminder, that one unconditional reminder every day of every time you're interacting with them of who you could be, right? Like a pet doesn't care that you made a mistake. They don't care what you look like. All they want is you to love them. And I think, honestly, if more of us treated, just like you said, treated other people like we do with our pets, our world would be so much better. Like, I see some of the meanest, most hateful people love their dogs, but yet they can't give a human the time of day, which is crazy to me, right? Like, how many people, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've heard people say, like, oh, I love dogs more than humans.
Oh, always.
And I'm like, how sad is that? Like, the dog or the pet is there to remind you to love humans, not to love an exclusion. And so I think that's why people have pets, man, is they only see the best of you. And then my challenge is, man, what if you could only do that for other people? What if you only saw the best in other people? You know, and it's amazing, man. Pets play such a huge role. You know, this week's kind of been tough on us. We put our boxer down, Sir Russell. You know, he was 11. And during that process, it was interesting hearing my 20-year-old and 17-year-old talk about how many problems he helped them through as teenagers. You know, and why? How did he help them? Because he didn't offer advice. He didn't judge. He laid there and let you just tell him everything. And then he licked you. And he loved you. Right? But as humans, we don't act like that.
Yeah.
I think about, like, the first time you tell me a problem, what do I want to do as a human? Tell you solutions. Tell you my problems, right? Like, we can learn so much from watching our animals and remembering to treat other people with similar attributes.
Wow.
You know?
R.I.P. Sir Russell.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's crazy, you know, that he chose to pass at this time. Like, I think literally his job, because he came into our lives, my oldest daughter was 16, Trey was 11, and Taya was 9. And I think literally his role and why because we rescued him. He had been abandoned in eastern Colorado, just left out in some field. So thankfully I had a good connection through a dog rescue. Andrea Stout, thank you, and she got him to us. And then he passes literally weeks before Taya graduates and leaves the house. So I think literally he found us and was sent to us to get the kids through these tough times. Times where they don't necessarily talk to a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Or they won't share everything, right? Because they know, like, I'm going to judge. Like, that is definitely a fault of mine. Or I'm going to offer advice. Or they're just, like, it's just not something you tell your parent. Like, you're going through pain, you don't want to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was his role.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they're ready to move on, like, it was his time to move on to dog heaven. So I think he was very much at peace. And that allowed the family to have peace.
Yeah. Wow, it is interesting how we can look at dogs who have no way of verbally communicating with us.
Yeah.
Like you said, can't offer advice, can't talk to you, just love you.
Yeah.
And that's such a great lesson right there. But for some reason, so hard for us human beings to do sometimes.
Oh man.
Because I'm the same. As soon as you're telling me something, I wanna try and offer advice or offer a solution. It's hard for me to just shut up and listen and just give you love.
Yeah. No, it's a fault of our creature. It's a fault of our genetics, I think. You know, we're problem solvers. Sometimes we just need to shut up and be good listeners.
Yeah. Agreed. Especially us men. We have we tend to have more of that problem-solving
Yeah,
desire.
that is true. That is one of our innate skills and desires
Yeah.
that we have to be aware of.
Yeah. So, besides unconditional love from pets, I did some research and found that in the United States, we spend $99 billion a year on pets. Why do you think we spend so much?
Because we have way too much wealth. 99 billion. That's unbelievable, man. I don't know. I think I find that interesting, right? Like we spend that much money on pets, yet we also argue about ending hunger. You know, I'm like, well, how much of that would go to ending hunger if we fed humans? I don't know, dude. I don't know why people spend it. I'm not one of those guys. Like Sir Russell, I love that dude, but he played with sticks. You know, like we didn't buy fancy toys, and although we did, I gotta admit, we did get him a sweater for the winter. He had like a flannel jacket we'd put on him every now and then. I don't know, dude. I that one just baffles me. Like there's a whole industry that makes billions on that. And I know I see people with like their dogs and purses and backpacks, and if that's your deal, I'm good with it. But I'm a much simpler man. My dog plays with sticks and go from there. What about you? Why do you think it is? How many toys does Chloe have? She's spoiled. She's the only kid in your house.
So, not so much on the toys, but she got some pretty high quality food. It's like human grade. It's not kibble. I mean, I've tried it.
Yeah.
I've taken a little bite. Been like, hey, this ain't too bad. It looks like vegetables and chicken, you know.
Was it during fight camp?
It's
You're starving.
I think so, actually. It's like, let me see what she's eating.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's more. I mean, I think it's over $100 a month for her dog food.
Oh yeah, we spent good. We did a nice grain-free diet for Russell. We fed him basically what he would eat in the wild. So that was so we did spend more on his food, but just like humans, I think if you give them better food, you prevent a lot of health issues on the backside.
Right, and that's kind of the idea we have because Courtney has had some pretty high vet bills before.
Dude, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
When did vets become like car salesmen? Like I take Sir Russell in for something. Next thing I know, I'm getting like a quote for like 8 other services, and the one that always got me, and some of you guys may hate me for this, but brushing my man's teeth. He's a dog, bro. I have not in a million years thought about brushing dogs' teeth. Like that's why they eat rocks and dirt and sticks and stuff. Like it cleans their teeth. And like every time we take him in for something, they'd be like, "Well, we really should clean his teeth," and we could put him down. It's like $500. I'm like, for the 18th time, quit asking me about this. I'm not buying the dental plan from you guys.
We use this dental spray.
Yeah.
It keeps your teeth pretty clean.
You guys do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a pet peeve of mine. I think, honestly, we used to get anxious going to the vet because, like, he'd have to get his shots. And we're like, oh, we're going to have to tell him no to this and to that and to that. Like, all these upsells. I'm like, dude, you're a vet. Like, just do the little shot.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was always – Andrea actually hated going to the vet.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Just because it felt like high-pressure sales again. And then you kind of feel like you're the bad dog owner. Well, I didn't brush my dog's teeth today. And I'm like, Russell, go eat some dirt, bro. Clean your teeth.
That's funny. So, Jerrod, we spend $99 billion a year on pets in the U.S. We've talked about why people have dogs. What is it that we can learn from this strong desire that we have to have pets in the household? Like, what does that say about us?
Well, I don't know what it necessarily says about us, but I think what they're telling us is pretty simple if we'd pay attention, right? A lot of people I know are big on rescue dogs, right? And think about it, to rescue a dog, that means they've already had their trust, their heart broken. That's how they got to a rescue, right? Whether family moved, couldn't afford them, dog got too big for the house, they didn't like, whatever they sent their dog to the rescue for. Like, Sir Russell was the most loving dog I've ever had. And his heart was broken. Like, his first owners literally drove off and left him in a field. He never held that against us. When he came to our house, he wasn't tentative to love us. He wasn't cautious to love us. He just loved. But, like, how many times in our lives as humans, because of a bad relationship, because somebody broke your trust, because somebody did something to you, do you now carry that and transfer that to the next person you meet or the next relationship you're in? Or, you know, like we talked about with victimhood, something happened to you 20 years ago and you hold on to it for the rest of your life, living it over day and day. Sir Russell didn't live the day he got abandoned every day. He lived the love he currently felt. So when I was preparing for this episode and watching Sir Russell's transition in life, that's what I thought. I was like, that dude never held it against us if somebody else wronged him. But we will hold that against people forever. We'll hold it against ourselves. Right? Mistakes we make, we hold against ourselves. Mistakes you make, I hold against you. Like, that's the biggest thing I think pets teach you, if you listen, is that it's okay to love again. It's okay to trust again. And we can really improve upon that. You know, I think that's really the lesson they show us is, you know, think about how easy would it be for that dog to never trust anybody again. Like, he literally got drove to a field. I don't know if they threw a ball out in the field that he would chase or what, but he ran out there and they drove off and left him. And he was out there for, I don't know, a week or so before some people found him and took him to a vet. It didn't matter. If that happened to a human, that we probably would never trust people ever again.
Right.
Yet we meet him, and within 10 minutes of him running around our house, he's like, I'm not leaving again. He never left our house. We visited him one time and kept him. But as humans, we don't do that. And I'm not saying you can't learn from heartbreak. But what I am saying is you can't hold it against everybody. You can't hold it against yourself. The victimhood issue, you know, episode, go back and listen to that. Bad things are going to happen to all of us. We have the choice in how we respond. And I think animals show you that despite heartbreak, despite a loss of trust, you can still get back to where you were.
What do you think it is that we have to lose when we don't choose trust and choose love, to where we choose to hang on to negative expectations? Like, why do we do that?
Well, I mean, you lose wholeness. Right? Literally, you lose one half of your emotional equation. Right? You're supposed to love. You're supposed to trust. You're supposed to be vulnerable at some points. So by holding on to that, one, it's self-preservation a little bit because it hurts so bad you don't ever want to feel it again. But then two, because you're not willing to risk feeling it again, you'll never feel the opposite of it. And we just talked about, what do dogs and cats give you? They give you unconditional love. But what you're talking about, if I hold on to all my past pain, if I hold on to everything that's wronged me, yet I'm in a relationship with you, you're not getting unconditional love, you're getting very conditional love. Because I'm guarding. And I think, you know, for a lot of us, that's natural, right? As you progress through whatever took place. But at some point, you got to realize that you are hindering your ability to be whole.
Yeah, that's interesting. We had a recent episode, I forgot how much, but on how your responsibility is the way people treat you. And on one end, there's the dog approach, right? You could live like a dog and always choose love and always choose trust. And the consequences of that is sometimes people are going to hurt you, break your trust. It'll be painful. It can be painful. And if you choose to live that life of a dog, then again, that's how people treat you is your responsibility if you're just unconditionally loving and always trusting. But on the other end, I think there's also a strong argument that you said earlier, if more people lived like that and at least loved unconditionally when it came to the people that are in their most inner circle, the world would probably look a lot better.
Well, let me ask you this. If I ask you, just name me a few people that you feel throughout history lived their lives in a space of love, who would you name? Who comes to mind?
Mother Teresa, Leo Buscaglia, I forget how to pronounce his last name.
Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela. All what? Profound people that have outlived their physical lifetime. And why was that? Because in times of hate, in times of heartbreak and sorrow and persecution and prejudice and evil, they always chose love. No matter how many times it went wrong, no matter how many times they spoke out or they acted out of a case of love and it caused them pain, it caused them heart, but they continued to come back. Or were they uniquely gifted more than the rest of us? You know, I mean, Martin Luther King obviously was a great orator, but was he uniquely gifted more so than you or I? I don't think so. Any of them? No, I don't think so. What's the difference? They chose to live in love every day. They chose to literally be that same person. So you think about it, if we remember those people off the top of our head without having to do any research, and if we Google stuff like that, you'll find more people out there. What was love? Like they literally just chose it, which means we can all choose it. So we can all ask ourselves, man, like when I see my dog or my cat or whatever pet it is that gives me love today, we can ask ourselves, did I ever show this to anybody else? In my day, did I ever act like this for somebody else? Was I ever a beacon of hope, an opportunity and love for somebody else? Or did I hold everything that's happened up till now as a guard to keep me away from people? Because realistically, if you look at it, why do people love their pets? Because they're open to them. They receive and accept love, which means you could do it with humans.
So what do pets do for us and our purpose in life?
I mean, I think that's the big piece for me is when especially with the recent passing of Sir Russell, is it makes me take inventory to make sure I share love and that I'm not guarding against it and I'm not holding myself back. And then quite honestly, man, like every time I came home or every time I saw him, he thought I had like the best day ever, right? He thought like I did the best stuff ever, right? Think about it, like the dog isn't coming running up to you and go like, man, did you have a mediocre day? Did you skip out early again, right? Like they think you're the best thing ever. And I love to like think about, okay, did I live up to that? Did I live up to being the best ever I could be today? And challenge yourself on that, and that's, for me, that's that purpose, is they're supposed to be there to remind you of who you could be, period, because they don't care about anything else. They just want you to love them and be your best.
I love it.
What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. I think that pets are here to give us unconditional love, like you said, even as a parent. Maybe the way that you love your children wasn't what they need. In some times, in some circumstances, they needed Sir Russell. Yeah. Just someone there, no advice, no talking, just that unconditional love. So I think that's something that pets can do for us that maybe human beings just aren't meant to give us that exact same type of love all the time, right? But I think that we can learn from them and be able to give unconditional love. And sometimes know that, hey, I just need to smile and hug my loved one. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Right? Of learning to not speak and just love. And yeah, to live up to being your best, and also to hype up those around you like your dogs hype you up. You know, how good does it feel when your dog is so excited to see you, to where we can have a little bit of that excitement as well when we see others that we love, that we appreciate, to remember how good that feels. How good that feels when your dog's wagging his ass off, just like,
And you're valued.
And you're valued.
You know? Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and I think that's why you see dogs so prevalent in therapy situations and helping people overcome trauma, is because they don't offer advice and they're literally just there to share emotions with you.
Thank God for pets.
Yeah, what about fish?
I don't know.
If you're a fish lover in
really
our
do it for
community,
you.
feel free to give us some comments on what fish do for you. I'd be anxious to hear on that. Cats, man, I heard a funny thing on dogs and cats when this whole quarantine stuff first started, and they were like, you know, you're home all day or working from home, and your dog thinks like, wow, he's such a good owner. He quit working to be at home with me all day. And the cat's like, that pathetic loser got fired.
Yeah, I'm team dogs, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I like cats. Cats have like a wide range of personalities.
I like cats too, because they honestly, they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like they like, a dog believes it's there to be with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like cats generally think you're there to serve them. Like, they wake you up in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? They're just, at least the cats that we've had in our lives have definitely, they'll come around when they want you, but if they don't want you, don't mess with them.
Right.
I remember we adopted this one farm cat. My mom actually adopted it for Drianna when she was little. And that little, man, he attacked her constantly. He would like hide behind the couch. She was like 4. He would hide behind the couch, and every time this little toddler would go by, he'd spring into action.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think she's still a little traumatized by that, but just kidding. She's fine. But yeah, it was an interesting story. But no, I think pets, man, show us really who we can be. And they're that constant reminder of what you have to give the world. Because think about it, a dog doesn't take anything from you. They literally just want love. And they want to give you love. And to me, that's the biggest thing I take away from all this, man, is we can be more than we're being on a lot of days, and we have more to give. Are we willing to do it? And ask yourself that. Look at your relationships, and are they based on past heartbreak and fears and failures, or are you truly open and loving? Are you truly willing to give somebody that place where you could get hurt again, right? That's vulnerability, but it's important, because to be full and to be whole, you're going to have to take some risk.
Yeah, I love it. And I'd also encourage our community to be generous with your love. There's a quote, I think it's Og Mandino, that says something along the lines of, love is never lost.
No.
If not reciprocated, it will flow back and soften the heart. So we have an infinite abundance of love. So don't ever feel greedy of love that you can't give it, because it's never lost. You know, if you say something loving and they don't reciprocate right there, love, sometimes it takes time for that love to work in, but it's never lost.
Yep.
So share it, spread that love.
Yep. And we appreciate you guys. If you want to help us build this community on a deeper level, please join us over on Patreon. We have memberships for as little as $2 a month, up to higher tiered memberships that give you access to monthly group calls, early access on the episodes, and input on what we discuss, and get you more involved in the community and helping us build a purposeful community around the world. So we appreciate you, and we thank you for joining us. And remember, team, life is far too short to live any other way than on purpose. We will see you all again next week.